Thanksgiving weekend historically means big budget movie releases, and this year is no exception with the film adaptation of Wicked in theaters, along with sequels for Gladiator and Moana. We got a preview of the holiday weekend fare from Bill Goodykunst, media columnist for the Arizona Republic and azcentral.com. Bill Goodykunst, thank you so much for joining us. Good to see you there. Nice little backdrop there. Looks like you're living the life here. Thanksgiving weekend is always big for movies. Why is that, Bill? Is that historic? What's that all about?
Yeah, I mean, I think that part of it is holidays in general are pretty big for movies, but I think Thanksgiving is a time when people come home and they're with relatives they haven't seen in weeks, months, maybe years, whatever, and then maybe after a day or two you realize, there's a reason I didn't see them for days or weeks or months or years. So people want to, but you know how it is. A little of that concentrated togetherness can go a long way. So I think people like to go out and see a good movie.
Okay,
and it's usually big for family movies, I should say, as well.
And that's where we get to the blockbusters, and that's where we get to the big titles. And let's start with Wicked, which seems like it will likely be the biggie. Is this going to be the number one, you think?
Yes. There's Wicked and there's Gladiator 2. They're trying to redo some of the Barbenheimer magic by calling it Glicked. For Gladiator. But Wicked is going to be the big one, and it's by far the better movie, so I'm fine with that. But it's a hugely popular musical. There's a little bit, it's not quite a bait and switch, but there's a little bit of tricky marketing here. It's a 2 hour and 40-minute movie, and it's only part one. The entire musical on Broadway is only 2 hours and 40 minutes, 45 minutes or something like that. So, you're about to commit to about 5 hours of Wicked between this year and next.
So basically you get through with the whole film and you go home, but you realize you haven't seen the whole film yet. Is that the idea?
You've seen half of it. Yeah. It's a 2-act play. You see the first act.
All right. And you say it's a good film. You say they did a good job on this.
They really did.
Did you see the stage play?
I have not.
Okay, because I'm kind of wondering about how similarities.
What I'm told is it's pretty, it's pretty faithful to the stage production, except that it's really long. And so what they've done is, I mean, there are a lot of dance numbers. There are a lot of huge production numbers. John Chu, who's the director, he did Crazy Rich Asians. He's really into this visual, sumptuous, big, kind of stuff. And there's a lot of that. And I have to say, Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, they can belt it out, man. They do not. They're the best thing about it. They need to be the best thing about it because they're the most thing about it. But Ariana Grande in particular, I mean, she's hitting some notes that are just like,
wow,
astounding. I was really impressed. I think she's an underrated actor too. Like you see her on Saturday Night Live, they don't have to retool the show for like her limited skills or whatever. She's pretty good. So I don't know what I expected going in, other than a long time at the movies, but it's a good time at the movies, and I think that makes it a pretty perfect Thanksgiving film.
What about Gladiator 2? And I got to tell you, Bill, I had forgotten that the original that won an Oscar for Best Picture. I forgot about that.
That won 5 Oscars.
Holy smokes!
It won for Best Picture. It won for Best Actor for Russell Crowe. We're on TV, right?
Yes.
And if I'm the emperor, this is what I say. I thought that the first one was stupid. There's a couple of really cool parts to, Are You Not Entertained? That was good. And I Will Have My Vengeance in This Life or the Next. But then you got 2.5 hours beyond that. So, and the problem with the second film is it's a lot like the first film, a lot. Down to like the beats of the plot and stuff. And I think Paul Mescal he's kind of a cool actor. I love having, a guy with an Irish accent playing this kind of quasi-Roman guy. He grew up in Africa, but for the purposes of the story, but he's from Rome. The saving grace of this movie is Denzel Washington, and he is fantastic. He in a role that he kind of has. He's been a bad guy before, but this guy is like just like a wise, just doesn't knows, confident bad guy.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and that's not a spoiler, I don't think, because I mean, there's a lot of talk about it. But I could watch him do anything, but I really liked watching him do this.
Okay, so Ridley Scott apparently still carries a lot of water in Hollywood. He can do the same film twice and 20 years later, and there you go. All right, Moana 2, that's another. We had the Gladiator 2 and Moana 2. The Rock return. The Rock is all over the place here. He's got this Red One thing out there. Combine the two if you can, if you want.
I don't see Moana 2 until Monday.
Okay.
That's when the screenings for that are. But I'm really eager to see it because, I mean, the first one was a big hit. Dwayne Johnson was a huge movie star. The jury's out on whether he still is. Red One, I think it cost about $250 million to make. It made 30-some million dollars at the box office when it came out last week. I don't really care that much about box office myself. I'm not the person paying the checks. But Red One is, in addition to apparently being a flop, terrible.
Wow.
It is a horrible movie, and but in kind of a way that's enjoyable to
Does
watch.
it come around the other side and actually become entertaining?
Not quite. Not it's. I mean, not in the way that like a cult. It's not going to be a cult film. You know, it's not.
Yeah.
You're not going to say, oh, it's the holidays. Let's watch. J.K. Simmons is like a buffed out Santa who works out for hours at a time. Let's watch him, or Chris Evans. Chris Evans is kind of cool in it actually, but it's not quite mean spirited. It's like nothing spirited. It's just like, oh, here's something. It's the North Pole. Let's put spies up there. Let's kidnap Santa. How about that?
Okay, all right. That sounds absolutely horrible. Before we go, we got TV to worry about. You got streaming. You got Netflix. Real quickly, anything stand out?
I think the best thing I've seen on TV this year, and it's not new, but since it's streaming, it's always there, is a Peacock series called English Teacher. It's really funny, but it also tackles some pretty. This is going to make it sound more preachy than it is. It's not preachy at all. It tackles some really big subjects, but in a really funny way, but in a really good way. It does about the best job that I've seen in media of someone going, or not going after, but at least challenging the what would you call it, the parents' movement to sort of change the curriculum in school, and to change the books you can read in the library and the things that you can teach, in history class, and whether you can fail a kid if they do failing work. But they talk about like there's a gun control. There's a lot of things. It makes it sound preachy. It's not. It's really fun.
Interesting.
And I have to say, on the TV front, a series that I'm really looking forward to that'll probably be coming up sometime in January are these congressional hearings on Trump's.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Trump's
There you go.
I think that's going to be about the thing that most people watch on TV.
Well, you crossed on over there, Bill, and we're going to have to stop you right there. It's good to see you again, and thanks for the warning on Red One and the good thing on Wicked, and thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Sure. Happy Thanksgiving.